Last Count Corla, I firstly want to say to the Minister that since the new office was established and he was appointed, he has certainly made huge strides in relation to the reform of this area and indeed to the funding of the area, and that has to be acknowledged. He's cut new ground almost in every part of the third level sector, and I know that in Carlow IT, Minister, when you visited there, you made quite an impression with the interest that you took in all of the projects that were displayed and in each of the individuals that you spoke to. I also admire the fact that you have introduced the type of reform which deals with the accountability issue. I think that's hugely important. We rely on the CNAG and the Public Accounts Committee to do an awful lot of this work. And in the past we've had various scandals, but you've also had good news stories out of the third level institutions. But when you account before the CNAG, you have to cover every aspect of spend and governance. And I think that consideration should be given to the expansion of the CNAG's office and to the appropriate supports necessary in that office to cover all of the sectors that he's responsible for. Now, you can introduce all the legislation you like, of course, and introduce all of the new regime, but if you don't change the culture in the third level sector, then you will still face the problems that are there now in 10 years' time. So I would suggest to you, Minister, that in that culture, and I see it now in MTU, for example, when a senior member of this House and I sought a meeting with the President of MTU to deal with a legacy issue from Cork, we were told that the President would not meet us. Now, if a President can say that to members of Parliament who are trying to address issues, then that gives licence to them to do as they please. And I think it's early in the game for that. I believe that you should intervene and assist on the appropriate steps being taken to ensure that the members of the House that have issues, that they be addressed directly by the President or someone senior within the university structure. And I would like to see the particular legacy case that I speak of dealt with. I'm tired raising it here. I know that you've given me a good hearing and a positive hearing, but I think that these are legacy issues that will drag into new arrangements, new structures, and they'll serve to contaminate the structures and to provide further controversy and disagreements. So please insist on MTU dealing with the issue in hand and getting on then with the business in hand. In the bill, you mentioned provision for cooperation between the HSE and other bodies, including SOLAS, Quality and Qualifications Ireland and Science Foundation Ireland, and also including the establishment of the National Apprenticeship Office. I want to propose to you that in the context of Carlow and Waterford, that you would consider purchasing a site in Kilkenny and establishing an apprenticeship scheme there to cover a wide range of apprenticeships. Kilkenny has always been the home of design and innovation. It's had the Kilkenny Design Workshops, and I believe it would be an ideal location to provide the type of schemes that would be necessary on a greenfield site connected to the university structures. And I would like you to examine that proposal, Minister, and provide the funding for the greenfield site and for the setting up of that apprenticeship schemes that many members of this House have asked you about in the course of this debate. It's also a fact that Kilkenny is the centre of Norman heritage, and I believe that the Normans influenced our country greatly and right across Europe. Norman studies should be incorporated somewhere in the southeast with the Norman Trail, because a significant number of those studying our culture and heritage are now travelling Europe in relation to the track of the Normans in that time. So perhaps a museum and Norman studies would be of interest and will give a different, I suppose, tourism element to the structure of our universities. The last thing I want to say to you in relation to universities, of course, is there's, and you met this, I think, in Carlow as well, the student representatives mentioned it to you, and that was student accommodation. And with the growth of companies within the university structure, I think they should be encouraged to go down the route to provide student accommodation and to ensure that good quality accommodation is made available to our students. And the profits, if there are to be profits from that kind of activity within the university sector, they can go back into the general coffers of the university and perhaps fund further initiatives. So the main point, and I'll finish on this, Minister, for me in all of this, is that the bill is going in the right direction. We're getting transparency and accountability. It's new and innovative and imaginative, and I think that it will achieve a lot. And my message to you is to deal with those cultural issues that I spoke about. I truly want to meet with the MTU President and others that are involved there relative to the legacy case that I spoke about. And perhaps an early intervention would bring about a resolution and help the universities and the new structures to look ahead instead of having to look over their shoulder at what legacy issues are there yet to be resolved. Thank you, Askia.